Well, I simply don't care what you say, Mr. Raccoon. In my opinion, the RS6 is a better car than the benefactor Krieger, and besides, it's got more flair now, hasn't it? Let's get started, shall we? Ah, hello, everybody. It's Megalithic here, otherwise known as Poclo Escobar over at Sodding Hill. Very funny. Yes, that was a flare, wasn't it? Very funny, Mr. Raccoon. What was I saying? Yes, we're Mr. Raccoon and myself. We are over here at the Maze Bank offices today, ladies and gentlemen, because we intend to purchase ourselves the original vehicle has been released. Okay, now before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, of course I must warn you, don't speak to my secretary. She recently invited me to a party and then used me as a pinata, you know, really not impressed about that whatsoever, the wretched swine, you know. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are, as I say, we are here to purchase ourselves a vehicle, and the vehicle that we intend to purchase on this occasion is the Vapid Dominator ASP, and the Vapid Dominator ASP can be found under the Southern San Andreas Super Auto site, and there we go. Okay, not too far down. In fact, top of the list right now. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It does have two prices, ladies and gentlemen. Two prices. Is retailing either at 1.7, effectively 1.8 or 1.3 million dollars, ladies and gentlemen, depending on whether you get the trade price or the buy it now price. Okay, well, we're getting it on sale this week, don't you know? So we're going to send it on up to the Hillcrest residence, ladies and gentlemen, as we always do, you know. And on this occasion, we're going to be getting another Vapid, don't you know? Can't remember the name of this sorting thing, you know. Vapid Hustler, I do believe it is. Could be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. No idea of the price. Not particularly interested in the Vapids, don't you know. Either way, it does look very nice. It's an old-fashioned sort of car there. Okay, well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the Hillcrest residence. Mr. Raccoon dropping me off. It's a rather shoddy style there, but thank you all the same, Mr. Raccoon. Okay, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on inside, and yes, well, this is the Vapid Dominator ASP, and what can we say, ladies and gentlemen? Well, in my opinion, it looks like it was designed by a board of corporate managers who saw a muscle car and then sucked all the soul out of it. You know, it really is sort of uninspired, in my opinion. Okay, well, be that as it may, you know, we've all got our own opinions on this sort of thing, but I am a British pug dog, so of course that makes me correct on all aspects. So yes, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, not a particularly inspired vehicle in terms of the aesthetic stylings, ladies and gentlemen, but never mind, we're going to take the vehicle out and see how she handles. Okay, well, here we go. We've got Mr. Raccoon with us, so let's have a look at the acceleration. Well, yes, in terms of acceleration, ladies and gentlemen, much like a teenage boy trying to disguise himself as a woman, it's passable, but not entirely convincing. And whoops, a daisies, hit something there and span out, didn't we? Okay, that really is a rotten shame. Well, we'll check out the handling as we're moving down here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. I mean, it's sort of more manageable than a sleepy kitten on ketamine, you know. It's not too bad, but we'll have a look at that top speed now, coming off the hills down here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, yes, I mean, much like the legacy of the Roman Empire, ladies and gentlemen, it's sitting somewhere between bad and good, you know. Okay, well, here we go. We're going to pull onto the main straight now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give the stability a go. We're going to see how it goes, and that really is very, very good, ladies and gentlemen. So traction, stability is certainly a very strong point on this particular car, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, top end speed, we are shifting. I mean, it is no slouch, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, sort of making negative comments there about Sodding Hill, right? Okay, hit a car. I mean, I'd say it's about average, ladies and gentlemen. It's not bad, but it's not too mind-bending either. Okay, handling, and we're getting around there in perfectly good order. As I say, ladies and gentlemen, the handling on this car is perhaps one of the more finer aspects of the vehicle. Okay, well, here we go. We're pulling back onto the Maze Bank offices. Mr. Raccoon way ahead of me there, don't you know? And he's going to hop on out of his vehicle, and he's going to come on over to this vehicle now. And we're going to go on inside the Maze Bank offices, and we're going to go and perform the necessary upgrades to this particular vehicle, don't you know? Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to take it on inside, as I say, into the Maze Bank offices, and we're going to go on into that custom auto shop, upgrade the vehicle across the board. Okay, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, you know, this section of the video, we will be playing this section of the video at double speed just in order to hurry things along somewhat, but still to provide you, the viewer, with the opportunity of having a look at the different aesthetic modifications that can be affected to this vehicle should you then choose to go ahead and purchase it, you know. And also, just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, we have cut out some of the performance-related modifications in terms of engine tuning, suspension, transmission, turbo, that kind of business, ladies and gentlemen, just in the interest of brevity. You know, okay, so what can we say, ladies and gentlemen, about the Vapid ASP, or the Vapid Dominator ASP, straight out of the box? You know, gotta be honest, not actually that underwhelmed by it. You know, really not a fan of the muscle cars, ladies and gentlemen, as regular viewers, not that there are any, of course, but as regular viewers would be aware, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a particular fan of the muscle cars, you know, ladies and gentlemen, but this vehicle, and they normally quite, they sort of repel me, but this vehicle has not, you know, it's not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. The acceleration, I mean, like I say, it's not bad, don't get me wrong, you know, it's quite good, it's just not exactly sort of breathtaking. The same with the top speed, ladies and gentlemen, it's good, it's quick, it's fast, you know, but it's again not exactly mind-bending. The handling, ladies and gentlemen, really is the sort of surprise for this particular vehicle. You know, I mean, muscle cars are sort of much maligned and then sort of infamous, one could say, for their absolutely shocking handling, ladies and gentlemen. But this would appear to be a more modern muscle car, ladies and gentlemen. It does seem to have vastly improved handling to the more sort of the old-fashioned kind there. So yes, really the weakest point of the muscle car seems to have been overcome, would you believe, in the ASP here. And it does make it for a rather enjoyable ride, to be quite frank with you. Okay, well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've pretty much skipped through all of the modifications, and we are now, as you can see, on the colours. And as I say, anyone who's familiar with these particular videos will know that signifies we are now approaching the end of this section of the video, and we'll shortly be taking the Vapid Dominator ASP back out onto the street, fully modified. We're going to give it a standard test lap, don't you know, around the streets, before we carry on with some of the other tests that we'd like to perform. Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are out on the street. This is the Vapid Dominator ASP, two of them fully upgraded across the board, and we're going to see how they go. Right, acceleration, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, like a solo album from Liam Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to win any prizes, I'm afraid. The handling, as we move down here, as you can see, we're going along. I mean, it's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's sharp, you know, it's sharper than an Italian in a pinstripe suit brushing his hair with a razor blade, you know. It really is that sharp, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to have a look at the top end speed as we come down here now, and you know, this is sort of it there. We're going to have another look at the acceleration, I suppose. We'll weave into traffic there. And the top end speed, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not mind-bending. It's about as average as an autumn afternoon in Aberystwyth, ladies and gentlemen. That's about all I can really say. Okay, well, there we go. Like I say, you know, the handling is the strong point of this car. The acceleration and the top speed, although not poor, you should not indicate, not infer that my comments are indicate that it's poor, not mind-bending, as I say, you know, sort of average, really. Okay, well, it's also worth pointing out, ladies and gentlemen, that if one so chooses, you can bring your vehicle up to the LS Street Meet. Soaring hell, bloody raccoon! Yes, well, what was I say? Yes, if you want, ladies and gentlemen, you can bring your vehicle up to the LS Street Meet here, ladies and gentlemen, indicated on the map here, ladies and gentlemen, and if you so choose, you can take the vehicle on inside, and you'll be out of your bloody mind, in my opinion, to go ahead and do this, because it's absolutely pointless. But if you so choose, ladies and gentlemen, you can take the vehicle inside. You can go and have the wheels changed from bulletproof or standard tires, ladies and gentlemen, and you can go and have the low grip tires affected to your vehicle, applied to your vehicle, one should say. Okay, so what's the deal with low grip tires, ladies and gentlemen? I believe that I've got them on my car. Mr. Raccoon hasn't on his, you know, and they're standard fare, ladies and gentlemen. Low grip tires dramatically reduce your acceleration, but massively increase your top end speed. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Raccoon with the standard tires. I've got the low grip tires. I'm going to come flying past him. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, low grip tires mean you've got low grip, and that means zero grip. So you're going to come to a corner, and your competitors are going to fly around, and you're going to come flying off. So stay away from the low grip tires. Okay, straight line speed, ladies and gentlemen. That's the next question we're now going to address. And here we are at the top speed test track, don't you know? So this is the Vapid Dominator ASP. We're going to put down the top speed test track and see what it can do. Now, just to give you an indication, ladies and gentlemen, the sort of times that we're looking at, 54 seconds, is what we consider to be a competitive time. Okay, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a look what the Vapid Dominator ASP can do, and it's crossing the line in. Wait for it. 56.592. So on the outside edge of competitive there, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But I'm sure you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, it's sort of, in terms of looks, it's less interesting than a striptease performed by an Arctic explorer. Okay, well, be that as it may, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring the vehicles. We've got two Vapid Dominator ASPs, don't you know, and we're going to bring one up to the sandy shores, and we're going to have a look at the difference between the default and the lowered stance, ladies and gentlemen. And on this particular occasion, Mr. Raccoon there and his ASP is in the lowered stance, and I am in the default stance, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, Mr. Raccoon, the lowered stance there did have far better acceleration and top-end speed, but the handling is awfully maligned, ladies and gentlemen. It's impeded quite to such a significant degree, ladies and gentlemen, that whilst he does be, Mr. Raccoon is able to catch me by the end of the line, I think we're going to perform all of these tests in the default stance, don't you know? Okay, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start it off with the Vapid Dominators, don't we? The ones that already currently exist on the game. So this is the Vapid Dominator GTT. It's a rather old-fashioned sort of muscle car, don't you know? Retailing for $915,000. And as you can see there, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the more modern ASP is leaving it in its wake now, isn't it? Okay, yes, absolutely miles behind. So we'll take this opportunity to point out perhaps that all of the other vehicles are being driven by Mr. Raccoon. You know, his name is the Bromley. He has a channel of his own. The channel is called the Bromley. If you type that into YouTube, you should go and find him. Why you guys got some rather good videos on there. Okay, well, as I say, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go through the Dominators first. So the next Dominator we're going to bring out is the GTX, don't you know, retailing for $725,000. So significant, you know, so $200,000 cheaper than the GTT there, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, it's also languishing quite some significant way behind the ASP. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in the market for a Dominator, it would in fact seem that the ASP is the far superior vehicle and absolutely trounces its other siblings there, the GTT and the GTX, ladies and gentlemen, simply can't keep up. Okay, well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen, crossing the line, as I say, way ahead of the GTX. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring things on. We're going to go for a muscle car, and then muscle car here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire, I do believe. Now, this is a particularly fine vehicle. As I say, I am no fan of the muscle cars, ladies and gentlemen, but I've got a soft spot for the old Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire there, ladies and gentlemen, retailing for $745,000. Don't you know, it's a very fine car, ladies and gentlemen. It's very fast for a muscle car, and as you can see, yes, it's absolutely unable to keep up with the ASP. So that really is rather interesting, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of muscle cars, then yes, it is rather fast, it would appear. Okay, so the next vehicle we're going to bring out is not a muscle car. We're now going to bring out the Paragon, the Enos Paragon R, ladies and gentlemen, retailing for $905,000. I do believe this is a sports car, and we're now going to see how this Vapid Dominator stacks up against a sort of more serious contender, don't you know? Okay, so here we go. As you can see, the Paragon R getting to the top there, ladies and gentlemen, ahead of us. But we are getting around the corner, and it's going to be a fight for it down the back, and it does turn out, ladies and gentlemen, there's no question. In terms of top end speed there, yes, the Paragon R's got it, and it's going to cross the line significantly ahead of us, and there we go. Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised. Okay, so just for the giggle of it, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring out the Emperor ETR1. Now, this particular vehicle retails for a price of $1,995,000, so that's as close as down to $2 million, ladies and gentlemen. We bring it out every so often, just for a lark, as I say, because as far as we've been able to establish, the Emperor ETR1 for a price of $2 million is incapable of beating absolutely any vehicle around the track. You know, we're convinced we can get it on push bike and get around quicker. You know, it's absolutely shocking. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the ASP, it does appear, can take down the Emperor ETR1. So what do you take away from that? Don't buy an ETR1, don't even stay in as long as you have to, as Mr. Raccoon bails out there as soon as he can. Okay, so it's another Bravado, ladies and gentlemen. We brought out the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire. We're now bringing out the Bravado Banshee 900R, don't you know? Now this retails, the standard Banshee, ladies and gentlemen, retails for $105,000. Can be upgraded to the 900R for $565,000, bringing it to a grand total of $670,000. An absolute steal, ladies and gentlemen, for the sort of performance you get there. As you can see, it's got fantastic top-end speed, and it's going to leave the ASP in its wake. Should be pointed out, the Bravado is actually upgraded to a Super, though, when one performs that modification. Okay, well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The next vehicle we're going to bring out is absolutely, I mean, it's a stonker in terms of price and acceleration, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Morgan, you know, and there we go. It's flying off into the distance, don't you know? And it is retailing for a price of $2,165,000. As I say, it's got fantastic acceleration and not bad handling, ladies and gentlemen. But its top-end speed, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely woeful. And so it's going to be a battle for it down the back there. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's the $2 million Morgan, losing as it so frequently does, and there the ASP taking it down. So rather interesting. Okay, another rather interesting thing released around the same sort of time was the Obey 8 Drafter, don't you know? Sort of, I mean, less than half the price, ladies and gentlemen. It's $718,000, and it's a very, very fine car, you know, for the money. As you can see, it's sort of got slightly better acceleration there. The top end speed, we did seem to be catching it. We're getting around the corner there, ladies and gentlemen. But the Obey Drafter, ladies, and the Obey 8F Drafter, or whatever the hell it's called, it's a very fine car, ladies and gentlemen. And like I say, for a mere snippet, $700,000 effectively is going to take down the ASP. And there we go. Okay, so we can bring out rather a lot of cars on this particular occasion, ladies and gentlemen, just because we're rather curious to see what this vehicle is capable of sort of achieving. So the next vehicle, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the Calico Gtf. Now, this is an absolutely incredibly fast vehicle. I mean, it's got absolutely awful handling, ladies and gentlemen, as you're going to see as we go around the corner here. But my God, it's fast, and yes, there's not a chance the ASP is going to catch it. The Calico retailing for about $1.4 to $2 million, ladies and gentlemen. It's got a trade or a buy it now prices. And yes, I mean, it really is phenomenally fast for the money. Well, we recommend that particular vehicle. Awful handling, but yes, you've got to get one, really. Okay, well, the next vehicle we're going to bring out, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be another Karen. We brought out the Karen Calico. Now we're going to bring out the Karen Sultan RS Classic. Now, my God, there are a lot of Subaru imitations on this game. There are a lot of Karen Sultans, don't you know? It should be pointed out, this is the RS Classic, as I said, retailing for, again, the two different prices, $1.3 or $1.8 million, effectively speaking. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very rapid vehicle, but it does appear, ladies and gentlemen, the ASP is putting up a fight for it now, doesn't it? We sort of did get around the corner quicker at the top there, ladies and gentlemen, but no, the RS Classic simply won't have it, and it crosses the line ahead of us. Okay, so it's very close, but the ASP not quite making. Watch yourself, old boy. Look at Mr. Raccoon going flying off there. Okay, so the next vehicle we're going to bring out, ladies and gentlemen, once again with two price tags, is the Dinka Jester Rr, retailing for a price of effectively $1 million or $1.4 million, ladies and gentlemen. It's a rather interesting car. It's certainly worth it for the money. You know, it's quite a good vehicle to drive, ladies and gentlemen. You see it's putting up a fight with the ASP there, but we are slightly ahead of it as we get around the corner. And as we get around the corner, we're going to have a look how we're doing. And yes, okay, we are sort of fighting for it, ladies and gentlemen. And in terms of top end speed, I mean, these cars seem to be quite equally matched, don't they? Now, obviously, we are slightly ahead until the very end, and then it sort of comes very close to neck and neck across the line. But I think we just about sneaked it there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, here we go. We are going to start to wrap things up. This is what we like to refer to as a serious contender. For those of you who do not know, for the hose at home, for the uninitiated, as they say. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Benefactor Serrano, retailing at a price of $110,000 only. Can be found under the legendary motorsport website towards the bottom of the page, one of the bottom end sports benefactors you can buy. And if you're not aware of the Benefactor Serrano, you certainly are now. Okay, so we're going to bring it on to Big Daddy Z, don't you know, ladies and gentlemen? It is, of course, the Pegassi Zentorno, one of our favorite vehicles, retailing for a price of $725,000, ladies and gentlemen. And for the sort of performance you're buying, I mean, it is in Mr. Raccoon's opinion and my own opinion, this is one of the best cars on the game for the money. It's going to take down so many of the competitors, ladies and gentlemen, going up to the sort of $2.5 million mark. It's got fantastic acceleration, fantastic top-end speed. We love that handling. A lot of people think it's very slippy, but once you get a grip of it, we think it's very, very good, ladies and gentlemen. Love the Benefactor, the Pegassi Zentorno. Should you buy one? Of course you should. There's only, of course, one more question left now, ladies and gentlemen, and that question is, and always will be, at least for the time being, the Grotti Italia RSX. Okay, well, it's a foregone conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. If it can't beat the Pegassi Zentorno, the ASP hasn't got a chance of taking down the RSX. It is the final masquerade, ladies and gentlemen. It's retailing for a price of what? I've got no idea. I actually did look this up, would you know. Actually, who cares? We're just going to start with the wrap-up, I think. Okay, so what can one say about the ASP, ladies and gentlemen? In looks, it's more boring than a librarian in a beige anorak, you know. In terms of acceleration, I mean, it's less inspiring than a sermon on chastity by a drunken preacher with a stutter. You know, in terms of top speed, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, for a muscle car, it is fast, you know. It's faster than a frantic fumble on a first date, but you're not as likely to come first. Okay, the handling's the best thing going for this car, though, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's more responsive than a rattlesnake on Red Bull. Is it worth it? Well, if you're in the market for a Dominator, go for it. If not, I wouldn't. Sodding raccoon. Well, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching.